What's good? What's good, fans? Thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. It's your man Cam on Wednesday, April 16, 2025. Yeah, we're a little late, man. Had some technical issues. So I'm not sure. I might have to send this link out to the social media so you guys can hear it. So I'm not sure you got this. If you're with me, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you're with me, because I can't. I don't know. But thank you guys for tuning into the Voice of the Fans podcast. It is your man Cam, and we here week 200, week 336 of the Voice of the Fans podcast. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for sticking with us. This show is a true show of perseverance, progression, um, and we talk sports and have fun. So thank you guys for being a part of the show. Go ahead to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Once again, it doesn't cost you nothing but a like to enjoy the content. So if you enjoy the content, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I don't have my media assets, so I don't have no videos to show you guys tonight, but tonight I do. Well, next week I guess I'll be announcing. We actually got our first sponsor for the podcast, so it'll be nice to introduce that next week, um, and do business going forward, to entertain the fans going forward. This week, fans, obviously, we had the WNBA draft. They had coming off the national championship, but it's all about the NBA right now. It's NBA playoff action. We're in the midst of the play-in tournament. I don't know how much you guys enjoyed the Warriors last night, beating up on the Grizzlies. Excuse me. But obviously, we got a good game yesterday. Playoff Jimmy showed up. Wow. Excuse me, fans. Got almost saw a death on air. Playoff Jimmy showed up and gave the Grizzlies 38 last night. To add on to what Stephen and Draymond is doing, the Grizzlies didn't look ready. We'll see how they respond in their playing game tomorrow. Because now, what do they play? Oh, they play the winner of these uh, Dallas Mavericks and Sacramento Kings game. Excuse me. So we had a really good game yesterday with the Golden State Warriors extending their season, making it to the playoffs, saving a couple of days rest, and the Grizzlies, like I said, they go on to play the winner of this game here tomorrow. And also, we saw the Magic dominate the Atlanta Hawks to win the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference. Now, the Heat just beat up on Chicago, so it'll be Orlando and Chicago facing off for that one here pretty soon. What do you guys think about that? Think about that matchup. The NBA playoffs as a whole is, I think this season is exciting, fans. What do you guys think? Because there's no clear cut favorite. Do you guys like that? I like the parity. I just think there's no clear cut favorite. Or do you guys feel the same way? Is Boston? Are we over? Am I overlooking Boston? Is Boston being overlooked? I don't think it's not too often you have a defending champion playing as solid as they're playing, returning, and they had the number 2 record in the conference, and they're still being overlooked. I think. I don't know with Jason Tatum, and he's always talked about, or Jaylen Brown. They're always being talked about, but them them guys, I think are often overlooked. Um, the Mavericks, Detroit Pistons and the New York Knicks, I think are a surprise here. Um, I'm surprised the Knicks. I thought the Knicks would have a better season. They end up number 3 in the Eastern Conference. That's not bad. I just thought they'd have a better season. The Detroit Pistons, obviously, they're playing the house money. They're going to give the New York Knicks a scare. At 3-6, that's a good contest. We're going to see that game probably going to go 6 games. That series is probably going to go 6. I'm willing to put some money on that series going 6. I want to bet on Jalen Brunson over Cade Cunningham. That's where I'm going initially. He hasn't played in a few weeks because of that ankle injury. I expect him to be healthy, and I expected him to have a better command of the New York Knicks team than Cade Cunningham has of the Detroit Pistons. Not taking away from what Cade Cunningham is doing, obviously his growth has put the Pistons in the situation to be even in the full play and not in a playing team of both the playoffs. So kudos to Cade Cunningham. Then we got the Bucks and the Pacers. The number 4 Pacers versus the number 5 Milwaukee Bucks, which is going to be an interesting series in the sense that obviously both Midwest teams, but without Dame Lillard in this series, the Pacers have a little bit of advantage. If they can get off to a 2-0 start, then we're going to start hearing talks about is there even a reason for Dame to come back if the Bucks are down 0-2. So it's going to be an interesting series. Is the Bucks is going to go as Giannis goes. So where can Giannis take him? That's going to be very interesting to see. Again, another thing that not being any clear-cut favorite is going to be interesting to see who comes out of the Eastern Conference. Because we have Cleveland Cavaliers. They're waiting on the Hawks and Pacers, or excuse me, they're waiting on the Heat and Hawks to figure out what they're going to do. It looks like the Heat's going to beat the Bulls, but they're kind of waiting on this team to fight for 8 seed, and then they can put it on them. They got a lot to prove this playoff series, so I know they're raring to go. Eric Mobley and Jared Allen and Donovan Mitchell, they got a lot to prove. So I know they're raring to go, and then so does OKC on the other side. They're getting a lot of disrespect from the players, the media, and the NBA right now, talking about they got to take their lumps. I thought they took lumps last year. I thought losing the Dallas Mavericks in a game away. Well, I guess it wasn't a game away, but seconds away from a chance to go to the Western Conference Finals. On that, SGA created that foul or committed that foul. So I thought OKC. I mean, that had to be a heartbreaking loss. Now, do they have to get to the Western Conference Finals and lose in the same way for them to be ready? Who knows? I don't know. They got SGA, man. If he's not the best player in the league, he's the second best player in the league. I mean, he's absolutely amazing with the ball handling. You could tell his workouts are he plays how he works out, so he's getting every use of those dollars that he paid for his trainer. He's getting out of it because he's doing that stuff on the court, and this game is developed in such a fashion that he's in the MVP. He should win the MVP this season, hands down. He should win the MVP this season. So kudos to Shaquill Alexander. In the Western Conference, the 4-5 matchup in the Western Conference is the Los Angeles Clippers at number 5. Against Denver Nuggets at number 4. Now we know Denver has already fired the head coach. This new coach has won. I think he won. He's lost 5 out of 4, so he won 4 out of 9. Excuse me. He's lost 4 out of 9 of his games before coming in coaching in the NBA playoffs. Do you think he's ready for what Ty Lue's about to bring to him? I don't know. Do you think the Denver Nuggets are ready for what the Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Who we got? The sharpshooter Norman Powell, 6 man. Is Norman Powell 6 man of the year? I'm not sure about that, but he's playing. He's starting some games, so he probably started more games than needed. But he's been awesome. Mavisa Zubac has been awesome. So the Clippers are playing really good ball. They're actually getting minutes out of Simmons, Bill Simmons. They're getting minutes out of him. So that's Ben Simmons. The Clippers are somebody to be focused with the NBA. So they're going to get back past the Nuggets, and then it's going to be them in OKC. It's going to be a tough matchup, but it's going to be them in OKC with a chance to move on to the Western Conference Finals. We got the Lakers and the Minnesota Timberwolves coming up shortly after that. Who's you guys' favorite? Is the Lakers a real NBA championship contender? If so, they're going to have to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves, who were a game away from going to the NBA Finals last year. I think that experience and Luka giving them the business, I think that experience kind of should have hardened them a little bit for last year. And now we see if the Minnesota Timberwolves have shown any growth, because they got to go up against the Los Angeles Lakers, who's been injected with life after the trade, getting Luka Doncic, and what's his name is your guy. Oh, how am I having a brain fart on my guy's name? Austin Reeves is having a outbreak second half of the season. Austin's been going crazy. I mean, averaging in these last 10 games, what's Austin averaging? Somewhere around 26, 27 points a game. Really being that key step up key factor. They've actually went to him on a few late games. So Austin Reeves has been very huge for the Lakers, and those guys. That's going to be That's going to be an interesting series because you don't know who's coming out of that one. Is it the Young Bucks who started off rough this season, found out who they are, and now for them to win, your guy Anthony Edwards is going to have to go crazy in this series for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's going to have to go crazy. He can't go for 21 and 12, 12 assists or 12 rebounds. Talking about he did all he can. He's going to need to go for 48 and 48, 9 and 9, something like that, to drag the Timberwolves over the Lakers. So for them to beat him, he's going to have to be playing amazing, which you don't want to miss that. And then the Lakers, Luka and LeBron, that combo, we're going to see. Now's the time to see with the chinks in those armors. Can Minnesota score? Obviously, that's the name of the game, to score more points. The team with the most points at the end of the game wins. But can Minnesota control that offensive side of the ball to where they're going to give up some points, but can they just score more points? They're going to have to outshoot them. It's going to be a shootout. So we'll see. That's what makes it interesting. We got the Houston Rockets, the number 2 seed, talking about both 2 seeds here are underappreciated, underrespected teams in the NBA. The Houston Rockets are the young guns, very young team, coached by Ime Udoka, who has his team number 2 in the Western Conference, but they're playing the Golden State Warriors, who's riding high right now because of the infusion that Jimmy Butler has brought to the squad, and the combination of Jimmy Butler, Stephen Curry, and Draymond Green. Like, they're playing amazing basketball. So then with the young guys, Tari Eason, Iman Thompson, they got Fred VanVleet. The combination of talent that the Houston Rockets have is amazing, and it's going to be the Warriors are going to have to be at the top of their game to get past these young guys. So that makes this whole series, which makes this whole NBA playoffs, man, just fantastic. From we got wall to wall basketball for the next 6 weeks, fans. So enjoy it. Enjoy it because this is going to be some good stuff. Uh, Other things that we want to talk about off the court. You guys got any problem with Mikal Bridges, who's already played 556 games, and which is fourth in NBA history? You got any problem with him checking in for 6 seconds and checking back out the game? I mean, that was kind of a controversy for fourth in the league history. I bet, without looking at that list, I'm willing to bet that only 2 or 3 of them are from this decade. So a lot of these are old school cats that he's beating, but and they likely played all their games. Where I don't know, anybody got a problem with that? That'd be interesting to know what you guys got out there. Hit me up at _ voice of the fans, at _ voice of the fans. Hit me up if that's the case. We got to think about the Portland Trailblazers extending Chauncey Billups. Good for Chauncey. Portland has talent. I can say that, but I mean that's kind of where are they going? I trust that somebody smarter than me understands that Chauncey's taking them in a better situation or a good direction. Because I couldn't tell you. Don't see many Blazers games, and having been there one time, I guess the atmosphere is good, but you don't know what you don't know. Talk about a weird decision was Daryl Morey says, or it's reported that Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse are coming back to the Philadelphia 76ers. So you get the head coach and the GM back to run it back. They're just counting on health next year. But if you do that, I mean, that's kind of foolhardy because this wasn't Joel Embiid's first injury. This wasn't Paul George's first injury. So chances are, like, they're what's the word? I don't want to say what's the word I'm looking for? They're not good money. That's not a good bet for the 76ers to be doing that, I don't think, in my opinion. Another tough decision that has to be made this offseason is who goes in on Phoenix, or who does Phoenix keep? If you're Phoenix Suns, who do you keep? You have Bradley. You're kind of stuck with Bradley Beal because he has a no trade clause. Are you going to trade Devin Booker or are you going to trade Kevin Durant? Who do you trade to get more for? You probably can get more for. Booker, but I mean Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant. Is that where you want to start? Is that where you want to start? I don't know who goes in Phoenix or who gets to stay in Phoenix. What do you guys say? Because that's a tough decision. I had on the show the other day. My guy Dwayne talking about from Arizona Press talking about they wouldn't trade Booker, and he saw no way that Booker was getting traded. But I'm hearing rumors that they're open to trading either one of them because they're kind of stuck and got to cater to Bradley Beal because of the no trade clause, which is there's 32 teams. He wouldn't want to go back home. Would he want to go back to what team is closer to Kansas City or Missouri, St. Louis, Chicago? I believe that's where he's from. So you guys can work a deal. But that's interesting that somebody's going to win Somebody's going to win in Phoenix, and who's it going to be? I talked about Visa Zubac earlier. Have you guys seen this game? Are you guys familiar with what Visa is able to do? That his numbers are bananas. His numbers are bananas this season. He's number one in rebound in the league. Averaged 20 points and 13 rebounds, I think, in the last 2 months of the season. In crunch time when they really need this wins. He has a plus 9.2 net rating, which is another positive thing. He's really getting down, and I really think he's going to help the Clippers get somewhere they haven't been before, which is a Western Conference title. If he if everybody stays healthy, obviously you've been saying this for a long time, but one of these years, man, it's got to pay off. If everybody stays healthy, uh, and get the best out of everybody, I don't think this team being who it is, uh, a resilient bunch of guys with a fantastic head coach. I don't think they're in a position where James Harden can fluff off of playoffs because Tyloo probably is cognizant of what's going on and will and will pull him if need be. We'll change him up. So we'll see how that works. Also, I mean, with Kawhi being healthy, I mean, Kawhi Kawhi's looks this last month. He looks like Kawhi. Looks like that guy. No one can argue that. No one at all can argue what he looks like. And then you get Norman Powell coming off screens, shooting that jumper. Like this team, and who else has a big man like Ivica Zubac? We're gonna see what these guys. Visa, obviously, he's going up against the Joker. Like I wish I could ask him, and knowing him, he's gonna tell me, you play him just like anybody else. But there has to be something special playing against Jokic when you're both foreign-born players, playing for playoff ecstasy. They beat you. You was there when they upset you a couple years ago, and went on to win the championship, or went on to go to the NBA Finals, I believe. Excuse me, not win the championship. They later won the championship, but they would beat you out of in what 2000 and bubble year. I think the Nuggets were the one that beat the Clippers. So there should be a little extra animosity for the lasting Clipper in the room, Visa Zubac, to go ahead and give Jokic something. Um, that's going to be a really good series. But I want to talk about who are the true contenders in this year's playoffs. Like who really are contenders? Because I like the uncertainty of not every, not the Celtics being so dominant that they're off the charts. The Lakers being so dominant that nobody pays attention. I really didn't care for the year that KD went to Golden State Warriors because whoever they played they were gonna get busted by KD, Clay, and Steph, each getting 25 a night, and nobody really had a chance. So I didn't care for that. I like it better when there's no favorite like this. How about you guys? What do you guys think? Do you guys like it better when there's no favorite, or do you like the favorite that you have to root for or root against? Do you like LeBron being the favorite every year, or any team he's on being the favorite? I like to see people upset the quote unquote people champ or champion. How do you guys like to see it though? Uh, Hit me up in the chat or hit me up on Twitter at underscore voice of the fans on Twitter, at underscore voice of the fans on Twitter. We get this chat going on. Thank you guys again for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. Again, we got a special announcement next week. Going to announce our first sponsor, and then we'll announce who it is. But want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. What are your thoughts on Isaiah Thomas upset for LeBron warming up without a shirt. I think there has to be context, Isaiah. And what I'm surprised that Isaiah is losing is the context. That was in an arena probably 2 hours before game time because there was nobody in the arena. So, and having been in the arena when LeBron's warming up, a lot of people are close as they can when LeBron's in the house or close as they can be. So there would have been fans around, on the side of the court or cameramen or media on the side of the court, what have you. But there was no one there, which lead me to believe like this was 3 hours. They don't let media into the building to like 2.5 hours before tip off. Fans 2 hours. And the crew, unless you're working in the building, you're not very often there 2 or 3 hours ahead of time. So him getting them, obviously the cameraman was there, but them getting footage of LeBron warming up with no shirt on, like there was the context is there was nobody else in the gym. Okay, the context is that he does that when he warms, when he's training. So Isaiah, you getting all upset about it is, I'm quick to jump on LeBron as anybody, but you getting all upset about it's kind of interesting, Isaiah. Um, some of the things, fan, I think this is a good time to go over it, but some of the things that we talked about earlier in the year that we wanted to see this develop, what storylines we want to see develop out this season, and I'm gonna just bring up some of these storylines. How much better do the Spurs get? Like with Wemby, are they playing on another level, or where are they playing at? And obviously, Wemby got hurt, but he was playing good until they got hurt. But he got hurt, so we really didn't get a chance to see the full second year of Wemby. I think it is the second or third year of Wemby. Um, how much will Chauncey be the coach of the, or how long will Chauncey be the coach of the Trailblazers? And to answer that question is he just got the extension, so he's going to be there for a minute. That's the answer to that one. Can Clay average 20 points a game? That was one of the questions we had coming into the season. Can Clay average 20 points a game? Um, I'm not sure that happened. Did Clay average 20 points a game? I'm going to venture off to say no. Um, but let me see real quick. Did Clay average 20 points a game? I'm willing to bet it's a no. But let me see what Clay did average 20. No, Clay was way off. He had 14 points a game, so not at all. He didn't even get close. Um, One of the questions we asked at the beginning of the season, before the season started, fans, was who has the best chance to win another ring? LeBron, KD, or Steph? Well, LeBron's team had the best record. LeBron's team had Luka Doncic. Um, so there, he probably has a close. He's closer to winning another one. KD obviously out of the playoffs and likely be on a new team next season. And Steph is just coming off a playoff play-in win. So LeBron right now, I have to say, is the closest. But this is the question we were at the beginning of the season. Um, how does Tyus Jones impact the Suns? Well, apparently he didn't. Apparently he didn't impact him at all. Can we call Orlando an underdog? See, fans, I was asking this question earlier in the season is because I kind of expected something of them. I didn't expect them. Well, they had two of their main stars were injured, so for different periods of time. So that's you can't really. It's tough to judge that because they were injured. But I was ready. I expected Orlando to be 4 or 5 in the Eastern Conference to kind of be where Detroit is, I guess, this season. Um, can they get to the 4th seed? No, they didn't. They just were in the play-in, so they moved on. Will the Bucks be better than the 4 seed in the East? Weren't the Bucks? They got there through spit and shine that they got there, but they did become number 4 in the East. If my numbers show me correctly, I'm trying to find the standings. Um, but I think they did get there, which makes that really good for the playoffs. Really good for the Bucks because they started off slow. If you remember, the Bucks started off real slow with Giannis and Dame not really meshing at the beginning of the season, um, and then everybody was ready to jump on Doc's case, and then they start winning a bunch of games. They went through a win streak, so they finished number 5 in the Eastern Conference. Number 5, not number 4, number 5. Who wins the most games this season? The New York Knicks or the 76ers? I probably said this, the Knicks. But that was a question at the beginning of the season. Obviously, the Sixers are 24-58, 6 games above the lowest the lowest team on the rankings, 1864 Washington Wizards. Um, these are some of the questions we had at the beginning of the season before the basketball season started. I just want to review, and I think it's kind of cool to see kind of where our heads were at, what we were thinking before the season started. So we asked who will win the most games. I think, I probably had the Knicks, and we know what the 76ers are. Can the Thunder and Timberwolves handle being the hunted? Um, we know now that the Thunder, again, they made it to 1 game away from the conference finals. Now, this season, can they handle being the hunted? And it looks like they have because they started off hot. They started off on a mission with something to prove. So I say yes, OKC did. Minnesota, on the other hand, I expected them to have a better record, although their roster chemistry did change. I expected them to have a better record, but they're here with a chance. If they made it to the playoffs, they get a chance to show their wares in the playoffs. Um, so, what will the Grizzlies look like this season? We Coach Jaw coming off one of his late season injuries, or excuse me, off of not playing most of the season because of injury. We didn't know how he would come back. Well, John Morant come back throwing hand grenades. So everything is fine in Morant's world except uh, off the court issues. He still finds himself in, but yeah, Morant is good and had got Grizzlies got the Grizzlies to the play-in tournament where they did lose, but they're waiting to they get another chance at the 8 seed. So they lost the 7 seed, but they get a chance at the 8 seed. And Dallas right now is up on the Sacramento Kings, 53-39. So there's a chance that those Memphis Grizzlies can go to Dallas and end up playing Dallas, which would be interesting. A good matchup for those guys. What do you guys think of the new look Clippers? Now the Clippers have kind of changed face over the last 2 to 3 seasons, or not 2 to 3 seasons, but 2 to 3 months, because before trade deadline they made some trades and kind of moved some people around. After trade line they acquired Ben Simmons. Um, so the Clippers have done some movement around. So there's been a couple of different iterations of the Clipper team, but Ty Lue is the main constant, and they made the 5th round in the Western Conference this year. And again, we talked about Kawhi's health earlier. We talked about James Harden being consistent. We talked about Norman Powell's vie for an all-star opportunity, and he has to get some looks at six man or all pro, one of the two, because he's really been killing it all season long. And Visa Zubac, if he does not first team all defense, he got to be second team all defense because he's been killing it as well and leading the league in rebounds or offensive rebounds, I should say. So again, this is one of some of the things that we were talking about at the beginning of the season. Is this a year for the Rockets or the Kings? I believed in the Rockets already. I thought the Rockets were a playoff team last year. I was just a year ahead of the move of the train because I saw them coming. Now that they're here, it's pretty cool to see everybody else jump on the bandwagon. But that's some of the things I want to look at the beginning of the season. The Rockets or the Kings. Now the Kings are going in a different direction than the Rockets, obviously. And which is kind of weird and sad to see at the same time. But nonetheless, the Kings are going in a different direction than the Rockets are. And then obviously at the beginning of the season, we were with the whole talk in the whole NBA was LeBron and his son. So nobody could get away from that talk or that conversation. Everybody had something to say or a certain perspective on what LeBron and having his son, having the clout to have his son drafted, which just imagine that. Having the clout to say that your son's going to be working with you. That doesn't happen most times unless you own the business, right? That your son is going to get a parking spot with his name on it, playing for the Los Angeles Lakers. Wow, that doesn't happen very often. What a story that has been. So that was some of the stories again that at the beginning of the season we wanted to take a look at and just monitor and kind of see where our initial thoughts were to where it kind of transpired. So some of the things that we got an answer to, some of the things that this list will be good for next year, like the Spurs. What did the Spurs move on to? How good are they going to be with the whoever they draft and the high draft pick they're likely to get? We'll know how this Thunder and the T-Wolves handle business in the playoffs. Again, some of these questions going to be answered for us over the next couple of weeks, which makes the playoff basketball so amazing because we get actual answers to what's going on the court. The teams get answers to their deficiencies because in the NBA, unlike any other sport, the NBA is going to, or maybe some football as well, NBA is going to pull out your flaws. And now, because only team can win and only one team can move on, there's going to be flaws in every team that we see. And the NBA playoffs is a good way to point that stuff out, and so make sure we see a different brand of yourself next season, hopefully. So with that, fans, we're gonna here's where we're gonna play our numbers game. If you guys remember, typically we used to play our numbers game at the top of the show for a while, but we start playing our number game here recently. I wanted to play our number game for the middle of the show, but I couldn't get to my little intro video that I want to show you guys tonight. So we'll play our numbers game now. Again, thank you guys for sticking with your man. Go ahead if you enjoy the show and enjoy the content that you hear. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. It doesn't cost you anything to do that, fans. Show a little love and support. I appreciate it. It helps the algorithm. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. If you really like it, share it with a friend. With it being April 16, 2025, the game I would like to play, or the numbers game, what we call it, is who wore this number the best, or who come near my first, or who come near my first. When you think of these numbers, and the number being today is the 16, so we're going to think of number 16. Who wore this number the best? And I think you can think of whoever wore it first. Was you think of Joe Montana? He wore it best, right? I would think he wore it the best, and that's who you think of first. Um, yeah. So when you think of the number, who Tyler Lockett is another 16. Um, Ryan Leaf is another 16. That's a good pull there. Um, so there's a few interesting number 16s that's out there. But the whole name of the game is, who do you think of first uh, when you think of the number 16? And that would be Joe Montana. What about when you think of the number 36? Who comes to your mind first? That for me, that'd be Jerome Bettis, or if you want to say who is Jerome Butler, he used to play for the Packers. He pretty much invented the Lambeau Leap way back when. Leroy Butler, excuse me. I think he wore 36. Or you got Gaylord Perry as well, that wore the number 36. Once again, fans, thank you for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. Excuse my voice. I feel like I need some tea or something. Outside of NFL draft, fans, I'm gonna talk about the draft. I'm gonna talk about it in a different way than most people. You've heard talk about it, but I'm gonna talk about the draft here a little later. But outside of the NFL draft, what wasn't a whole lot on the NFL docket this week, except Tyreek Hill acting a fool once again. Ever since the offseason, Tyreek Hill has been trolling on the social media, and now he says he wouldn't mind to be traded. I don't trade him. Fans, if you heard the show any other time before, I told you how I felt, or if I felt paying a quarterback $50 million, an average quarterback $50 million, and then paying an aging wide receiver upwards of $35 million, who his contract in 2 years is going to escalate to like $40 million. No, he hasn't been that much of a difference maker. Now, he had one good year 2 years ago. 2 years ago, he had one great year, outstanding year. This past season, his number probably dropped from number one in the league with the player rating to number 51 in the league, because he was not the same guy. Now, his season started, he was injured, he had the bad wrist, the quarterback with injury, blah, blah, yeah. That's why we can't pay you. For any of those reasons you want to throw up is a reason we can't continue this marriage. And Dolphins are already looking to get rid of Jalen Ramsey, another overrated price tag. He was. We can draft somebody to give us that same production. Won't give us a fear factor, but we'll get this similar production if we draft. I can't say Chris Greer, but a quality scout in the NFL can find a productive cornerback. I'm convinced a quality scout in the NFL can find any player. Got an argument with this some time ago at a bar talking about they can't find a left tackle or right tackle. Come on, man. There's 122 schools. That means there are 244 tackles coming out of the draft. That's a crop. That's a good crop of players that you guys have to scout and figure out who can play the game, or get a defensive lineman with long hands. But to tell me that you can't find them, I'm not buying it. To find one and produce, not find one and just wear a helmet and wear the uniform. To find one and produce, I don't believe, or find somebody good enough and coach them up. One of the two should be happening. You should be able to find that guy and plug him in, or find that guy and coach him up. So what we got here? Dallas is 68. The Sacramento Kings 48, with minute to go in the second quarter. So we got Dallas up by 20. No Kyrie. Um, yeah, Kings are too nervous. Clearly, um, no Kyrie, no Luca, and they got 20 up on the Kings. Come on, Kings. Where are you, Kings? Zach Levine. Oh, your guy Anthony Davis just hit another three in somebody's eye. The Kings or the Mavericks on a 10-0 run right now, and the Kings turn it over once again. Interesting. Um, yeah, the Titans. I think I mentioned this last week. The Titans canceled their scheduled visit with Shador Sanders, so they're pretty confident in taking Cam Ward. The Panthers signed D1 basketball player Colin Granger. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. The Raiders repaid Geno, or excuse me, the Raiders paid Geno, not repay him. They pay him his money, something he deserved. He calls it a reunion with He calls his reunion with Pete Carroll unfinished business. Go ahead, Geno, do your thing. Get some money down there. The Vegas is a fun place to be, especially when you got a few dollars. Um, NFL draft prospect Travis Hunter said he could play every snap. Actually said he'd rather sit out than not play both ways. I mean, bro, wait till you start making some tackles from these NFL running backs or having to get open or get hit by an NFL linebacker. That play every down stuff. Come on, man. I love you. I love your skill set. But come on, man. Draft him as a cornerback. Line him up at receiver every now and then. That's kind of what I would do. All right, fans. So we obviously, we got the NFL draft coming up here. I think it's next week. So how I wanted to share this was how I wanted to share this. Okay, I thought I lost you guys for a minute. Now that was totally my bad. Is how I wanted to share this, fans. Is what I want to discuss is go down the list and talk about what the team needs are versus what player is on the board. I haven't been to draft combine. I haven't been to Senior Bowl. I haven't been to the East West Shrine game. So I don't know the players that intimately to tell you where they're going to be, where they should be or will be picked. But I do know kind of what the team's needs are and which players may fit best into them. So the Tennessee Titans, obviously they're eyeing Cam Ward. All things look to them drafting Cam Ward. Cleveland Browns, if I were Cleveland Browns, I would drive. I mean, they have a lot of needs. They need a quarterback. They could use the big play receiver. They could use the big play corner. I mean, you can't keep banking on the running back to be healthy every year. Last year he took a little bit of time to get over his knee injury. So do you need another running back? What are you doing at quarterback? I mean, you need wide receivers. I don't know. So if they go Travis Hunter, I'd understand it. But if they went the linebacker out of Penn State, I'd understand that too. So I'm not sure. The New York Giants, they need to take Shedeur Sanders. They can't allow Shedeur Sanders. I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar, but I can say, yeah, superstar traits and tendencies. I'll put it like that. The Giants can't pass up on this kid. If he's there, at number 3, they essentially have to take him. Meaning, Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston instantly needs to start packing boxes to plan to leave town. Because I doubt they have 3 high-profile quarterbacks. I mean, unless both of them are a bridge, you don't need 2 of them. If you need him to sit back and watch, that's fine. But you don't need 2 of them trying to talk to him and trying to coach him up. You don't need 2 of them. Let either one of them decide who you like best. But somebody's got to go just to make room for him, make him feel more a part of things. And heck, if somebody suffers an injury, he might actually get some playing time. But the luxury they have is they don't have to play him. But they can't pass upon him and him be rookie of the year, him be in 2 years MVP candidate. The Giants can't have that because they already had one MVP candidate. They had lost one MVP candidate one year. The next year they can't pass up on the next possible big guy. I'm not saying Shadur Sanders is going to win the Rookie of the Year. I'm not saying he's going to be in a championship conversation or a Super Bowl conversation within the next 3 to 5 years. That's not what I'm saying. I said the New York Giants aren't in a position to miss out on if he becomes that. Take him, groom him, and put him, where he needs, because he's built for the sun. He's built for the light and the shines and the brightness of New York City. The New England Patriots, they kind of need everything. If none of that stuff happens and they end Travis Hunter falls at 4, now that's a great option for the New England Patriots. He'll be really good in New England. Jacksonville Jaguars, I can say they're using some linemen, a linebacker, strong safety. I can see them drafting a receiver, not at 5, but I can see them needing a receiver. I can see obviously them drafting a big man. We'll see what happens. A big man for the offensive line, I'm saying. The New York Jets, they need offensive help. They're going to need either a blocker, they're going to need a running back, or excuse me, not the Jets. Before I get to the Jets, it's going to be the Raiders at number 6, who all things are all signed to me, or that I feel here are pointing to them drafting Genty. So the Raiders get their guy. The New York Jets, are they going defense or are they going offense? Are they going a wide receiver, another wide receiver, a tight end to help out to help out their young quarterback? What are they going to do? But those are the things that they can use. The Carolina Panthers obviously can use everything. But here, if there's a number 1 wide receiver, somebody, a tight end or wide receiver, somebody to make Bryce Young's job easier, that's what I want. The New Orleans Saints, if Shadur Sanders fall this far, they'll take him. But if they don't go this way, they need a quarterback. Because Carr may not play this year, and the other quarterback they already have under Carr is not ready. So they need a quarterback. So they'll probably be taking Dart first or Ralph. We'll see. Have to see where they go when the time comes. The Bears at number 10. Do you draft a running back this early at number 10? Do you go wide receiver, try to give Caleb another weapon, or do you draft the defensive line to help out the defense a little bit? The Chicago Bears are in an awkward position where they don't have a lot of holes. They need their quarterback to mature and see what you get from him then, and get some players around him that they can mature from. The Niners probably need an offensive lineman. They probably can use a receiver somewhere down the line. Because Ayuk got hurt last year. Debo's out of there, so they need another guy, a guy or two actually. So I can see them going wide receiver. The Dallas Cowboys drafting at number 12. What do you do? Do you go running back? Because I have to go running back because they haven't had one. or go running back or wide receiver. I think best available running back or wide receiver. Best available running back or wide receiver because I mean, they don't have a running back, so that's why I say that. Miami Dolphins, number 13. Miami Dolphins need offensive linemen. I say offensive lineman and defensive lineman, but we need to start with the offensive line. Get us some help down there, please. The Colts they need a wide receiver, or they need a linebacker. They got linebacker. They need probably some defensive line, excuse me, and a quarterback maybe. The Colts and their quarterback to kind of get his mind right. Just giving you guys a rundown of who I think these teams need versus who's going to be drafted here in this spot, if that makes sense to you guys. That's just what I'm talking about here. Number 15, Atlanta Falcons. Whew. They got receivers. They got a running back. They need offensive line help. No reason the cornerback and running back need to be ditching and dodging linemen every time. They need to get some big uglies. The Arizona Cardinals, the same could be saying for them too. But if you feel so inclined, man, it wouldn't hurt to have another top receiver against on the other side of Harrison. So I might draft a wide receiver, or get an offensive lineman to keep your quarterback from scrambling around so much. The Cincinnati Bengals, yeah, they need offensive line. Talking about to keep your quarterback healthy, they need offensive line for sure. Or a defensive end that's going to replace your guy who comes up here in a little while. The Seattle Seahawks, yeah, they be drafting that wide receiver from Ohio State if he's still on the board. If somebody hadn't taken Ibuka, I believe his name is, they'd be taking him. We got the Denver Broncos. They need some defense. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they need a quarterback. If somehow Shador Sanders fall to 21, oh my goodness, people in Pittsburgh country would erupt. The Los Angeles Chargers, what do they need? Hmm. I get a defensive lineman or a hard hitting linebacker. Um, I believe you can find that at 20, or excuse me, at 22. The Packers, they need some offensive linemen, maybe another wide receiver. The Minnesota Vikings, I'd give myself a running back. Um, yeah, I'd give myself a running back, Minnesota. Houston Texans, the same with Houston, I do the same. The Los Angeles Rams, they need to replace Cooper Cup, so they probably draft a receiver. Baltimore Ravens, what do the Baltimore Ravens need in this draft? I mean, is there a receiver left? A lot of receivers haven't gone, so I probably get a receiver from Baltimore, somebody that can mesh well with um, Lamar Jackson. Detroit Lions, Washington Commanders, Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs, and the Eagles round out the NFL draft. Um, if I was the Ravens, yeah, like I said, I'd probably go give me a wide receiver to play with Lamar Jackson. I'm Detroit. Wouldn't hurt to get some more offensive linemen that can learn from that group that you already have there. The best thing to do is be able to learn from it, pass some of that knowledge and lessons on. Um, the Washington Commanders, they need offensive line help. They need linebacker help. They need another wide receiver or two. So I'd like to see them go for a wide receiver here. Buffalo Bills, this is kind of one of those teams that have a lot, but I go defensive here. I go defensive lineman here to complement what they already have on their defensive squad. Um, yeah, Washington Commanders, Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs. What do they need? They need a running back. Kansas City Chiefs need a running back that they can depend on, that they can be happy with. It wouldn't hurt to have another big time wide receiver to find a kid in the fourth round, like they found in Tyreek Hill. Would not be bad if they found one of those type of players. And the Philadelphia Eagles, what do they need? Health. Let's pray for them and wish them health in this NFL draft. Once again, fans, thank you for tuning into the Voice of the Fans podcast. This is your man Cam, and I appreciate you hanging with me, man. If you like this content, please share it with your friends, share it with your neighbors. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Fans, something we do on this podcast that we don't do on most podcasts. And tomorrow, next show, I'll introduce the sponsor we have for this segment. But it is This Week in History. This Week in History, we like to highlight some of the stuff that goes unnoticed or went unnoticed for a significant amount of time, and we want to bring some light to. April 14, 1979, Yusuf Lilly sworn in as Grenada's new president after returning from exile in neighboring Tanzania. His replacement, he replaced Idi Amin, the notorious dictator who drove him into exile. March 15, 1928, Norma Myrick Sklaric was the first woman architect to be licensed in the United States with a certificate in the from the state of New York in 1954 and then California in 1962. In 1985, she became the first African woman to form her own firm, Siegel, Sklaric, and Diamond. Interesting. April 16, 1973, Leila Smith Foley elected mayor of Taft, Oklahoma, making her the first African-American woman to be elected mayor of a United States city. April 2nd, 2000. That was before. April 15, 1947, Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier by becoming the first African American to play in Major League Baseball for the Brooklyn Dodgers. February 18, 1966, Bill Russell, coach of the Boston Celtics, became the first. Bill Russell named coach of the Boston Celtics basketball team, making him the first African-American NBA coach. March 18, 1977, Pulitzer Prize awarded to the author Alex Haley for his groundbreaking semi-biographical novel, Roots. Shohei did it again. Apparently, I'm missing it. 4/18/1980, Jamaican reggae superstar was invited to perform in Zimbabwe for their independence celebration in 1980. Freedom fighter from the country credited his music as a motivating influence during their struggle for independence. Don't know that he took that one. Fans, here we had the WNBA draft this past week. Obviously, Paige Becker got drafted by Dallas. She goes to Dallas, and Paige Becker and Enrique Mbugawali. Woo, that's a heck of a combination you guys have to defend, whoever the opponent is. But the Seattle Storm got prospect out of France, Dominique Malonga. You guys see this 6'3", 6'6" girl dunking with ease? She gonna be a problem. Haley Van Lith reunites with Angel Reese in Chicago. What do you guys think about the WNBA? Are you fans of the W? Do you watch the W? Do you go into any W games? Hit one in the chat if you go to the games. Now, what do you think about this crazy story? NIL. I just wrote an article about NIL and free. We got free agency in hoop. We got free agency in basketball. What do you guys think about the kid who was making $2.5 million? He sat out because he wanted the $4 million, and it appeared like he's asking for the $4 million just because he wants it, not because somebody else is offering it to him. Like that was terrible negotiation on his part. You got if you want to leave the school, that's fine. If you leave the school for more money, even better. But what is the old saying goes? A better bird in the hand beats two in the bush. If you don't have a contract that says they're gonna pay you, or a commitment saying they're gonna pay you $4 million, you can't go to your school and say I demand $4 million. If not, I'm leaving. Because when they say, oh, well, you can, but when they say no, I mean you got to bear with the consequences of being in the locker room every day after they know you want to leave. So this guy may be out of a job, man. Bad parenting right there. Bad, terrible parenting. The kid was already making a couple $1,000,000 a year. What you gonna go somewhere else for $1.5 million, dude? Is that what we're doing? You already have money, bro. Like, stay there, make it work. In a minute, you're going to the NFL where the crime rises to the top. That's the problem with the NIL deal. I don't know if you guys heard about that. In Michigan hooper Danny Wolf is going to the NBA. Duke's Con Knipple, he's going to the NBA. He reminds me of so much of Danny Ainge. Like I see him have a Danny Ainge game in the next level. Florida's Alex Condon going pro. A lot of questions we have from the men's tournament as well. Our NHL. No, I wasn't a huge hockey fan, but I might have participated in had the Kraken been in. But are the NFL playoffs diminished because there's no USA teams in there? What do you guys think about that? Is that the case? Walk, travel. Come on, my man took a Euro step and then took 2 more steps. Here you go, PJ Washington Jr. Well, first it was over and back they didn't call. But how about Alex Ovechkin breaking Gretzky's record? Now, I did say I was going to have that most unbreakable records list. I don't have it this week, but I'll have it for you next week, I promise. That was crazy, though, right? He on the 42nd goal this season. He is 4th in NHL now in goals scored. That's an incredible record. Shout out to Alex Ovechkin for breaking that record. Shout out to Rory McIlroy winning Augusta in his 17th try. Like, in golf, we all know you're playing the field more than the player, but 17 times he go out there and failed, and it took him 17 times to win. Congratulations, Rory. He now becomes only the 6th man to have won all the Grand Slams. What do we have? No boxing, no huge boxing this week. We have the San Francisco Giants. Last I checked, they were at 12-2, so 13-4. Maybe they were 12-4, so maybe they're 13-4. Killing it right now, the Giants in baseball. You guys have any favorites other than what the Dodgers are doing? Any favorites? Let me see what the Giants are doing. The Dodgers are beating up the Rockies right now. Um, San Diego Padres is 15-4. The Giants are 13-5. The Dodgers are 13-6. So San Diego Padres again off to a quick start. They got the best record in the major leagues. It looks like in all of the majors, 13-4. Yes, sir. San Diego. Okay, is this sustainable? Probably not, but enjoy while it lasted. San Diego is a nice place to watch some baseball. Fan, as we close out tonight's show, man, I want to thank everybody who tuned in. Everybody who ignored the mistakes and the hiccups that we had to kick the show off. Well, want to thank you for your time. And as always, fan, I want to wish you guys to, if you like the content, hit that subscribe button. If you like it, hit that like button as well. If you really like it, go ahead and hit that share button. Share it with somebody you know. Make somebody's day so they can hear this podcast. But fan, I want to thank you guys for making our show. It's your encouragement that keeps the show alive. So thank you guys for giving us that extra boost. Shout out to the guys at HMB Media TV. Shout out to you fellas. But as always, fans, I want to say thank you for making our voice your choice. Enjoy your night.